For this tutorial you will need your selected yarn. I'm using Stylecraft Special DK in white and fuchsia purple. You will need a pair of scissors, a crochet hook. I'm using a 5mm to go with this particular yarn, and you will also need some darning needles. You'll also need some buttons. These are just my selection, but obviously you can use whichever style or colour you like. You're going to begin by creating your slip knot, and you can do this whichever way you prefer. And then we're going to start off by making a chain. Now this might vary depending on the size of your actual mug. So what you want to do is take your mug and do a chain to the length of this space just here. You could do it a little bit bigger if you want to, because essentially the mug cozy isn't going to go in between here. So start making your chain, and you can do that by yarning over and pulling through. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll probably want to do a little bit more, but what I'm going to do is just take out my hook just for now, and then bring over my mug and lay it down. Yeah, I definitely want to chain a few more. So I'm going to go ahead and do a few more chains. You can do this for yourself as well, and meet me back once you're happy with your length of your chain. So I've now done my chain. I actually undid my chain and did it again because I felt like the first one was a little bit too tight, and this one is a chain of 12, which I'm happy with. So what I'm going to do now is chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's going to class as my first treble stitch. So a treble is a UK term. In the US this is known as a double. So what we're going to do now is count 4 stitches or 4 chains back from the hook. 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I'm going to treble crochet into that 4th chain. So it's yarn over, insert your hook into that chain, grab the yarn and pull through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. Grab the yarn and pull through 2 loops on the hook, and then grab the yarn and pull through another 2 loops on the hook. We then want to do this in every chain that you've just done. So go ahead and work those stitches all the way along to the end, and meet me back once you've done that. So now that I've gone all the way along, my original chain was a chain 12 plus the chain 3. So I have 12 stitches plus my chain 3 chain here, so that is my 13th stitch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then turn the work. So now that you've chained 3, this is going to class as our first treble, and along this row we're not actually going to work into the tops of the stitches like we do normally by inserting our hook into both loops. We're actually just going to go into the back loop just like this. So you would do your treble as normal. As I say, this is classing as the first stitch of that particular stitch from below. So we're going into this space just here. Okay, so this is the base of this stitch. We're going into this stitch. So it's yarn over, insert into that next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through 2. So we're just working into that back loop, and it might just pull it up slightly, but that's absolutely fine. It should fix itself once we go along the row. Just try not to pull on your yarn too much. So again, you're going to work into each of the stitches along this row. My rows are consisting of 13 stitches, including this chain 3. So I'm going to do 12 stitches and then meet you back on the last stitch just to make sure that you're doing it in the right place. So go ahead, pause the video, work your way to your second to last stitch, and meet me back in just a moment. Okay, so I've now come to the end of my row, and I'm left here with this chain 3 from the previous row. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to insert my hook in and catch both loops of that 3rd chain from the bottom. And this just makes the edges a little bit more sturdy. So I will finish my treble as normal. I'm then going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn my work. and then continue to do exactly the same thing as we did before. So hook goes into the back loop of that next stitch, working your way along, and as you build you'll notice that it gives it a really nice ribbing effect to your work. So what I'm going to do now is build this and keep popping it around my mug, just so I can see how wide it's getting. And what we want to end up with is that the work starts here and finishes just before you get to the other side. So go ahead and pause the video, build this length until it goes all the way around your mug, and then come back to me when you're ready. Okay, so I've now finished my length, and this is actually 14 rows, and that is enough for that to go around the work and not be too close to the handles, because we're going to obviously make a little loop to go through there. So this is what it's looking like. So I'm now going to tie off my yarn. I'm going to yarn over and pull through, grab my scissors and snip off, and pull out, and then pull that nice and tight. So this is the basis of the mug cozy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my other colour, so my border colour. So what I'm going to do is, with my new colour, I'm going to insert my hook into one of the stitches along the edge, and I'm going to grab that and pull through. Now I like to tie on my new yarn, but some people don't like to do that, so you can do that whichever way you prefer. So there is my new yarn attached. I'm going to insert my hook into the same place again, grab the yarn and pull it through, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by chaining 2. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a double crochet into the next stitch and to each stitch along this row. So straight into that next space I'm going to grab the yarn and pull it through, and then grab the yarn and pull it through, and that is a double crochet. That's known as single crochet in the US. So I'm now going to go into the next space and do exactly the same thing, and into each of those spaces along that row. Now when you get to the corner, we are going to do something just slightly different, because we actually want to work around that corner space. So this is the first one into that corner, and then what I'm going to do is do another 2 around that same space. So I'm pressing this loose thread down so that we can start to crochet that in. So that's 1, and then we'll go 2, and that's the very corner, and then 3. Okay, and that kind of takes us around that edge. Now when it comes to the posts of these stitches, I'm going to choose to do 2 in each space. So that's 1 and 2. So you'll end up with quite a few stitches in that very corner. And then I'm going to continue to lay this down and do 2 stitches in each post. 1, oops, and 2, and then move along to the next post. 1 and 2. So you might just want to, as you're working, pull those so that they just sit a little bit neater in those stitches, or you could do that after, it's up to you. But you want to work your way along this edge, and then once you get to the opposite side, come back and I'll show you what to do. Okay, so I've just worked my way along this edge. I've just done my corner, which was the 3 in the corner plus the 2 around the post. And now I'm about to work my way across the top of this work now. Now, when we work across the top of this this side, we actually want to make a loop right in the middle so that we can put it around the button, which is going to be placed on the opposite side. So I have located my center stitch, so remember there is a stitch inside here, by just counting into the middle. So this is my center stitch, and I'm going to stop doing my stitches here and then restart doing my stitches here. So I'm going to essentially miss 3 stitches when I do the loop. So I'm going to go into the next stitch and then the next stitch, and this is where I'm going to stop, and this is where I'm going to do my loop. And all you want to do for this is do a chain. So you want to make sure that the chain is long enough to reach the other side and then also loop around the button. So I'm going to do 8, I think. So 8 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I'm going to go into, so I'm going to skip 3 stitches and then go into that 3rd stitch and just continue as normal all the way around. So it's leaving you with this just here. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of my double crochets all around the rest of the work. I'll meet you back when you meet yourself at the beginning and show you how to tie off this round and how to finish your mug cozy. So once you get to the end, you're meeting yourself at the beginning. You want to insert your hook into that very first stitch and you're going to slip stitch together, and then you're going to yarn over and then snip off your yarn. Pull that out and then make that nice and secure. And now all you have to do for the moment is just sew in your ends, and then you want to grab your chosen button and we're going to attach that. So sew in your ends and then come back and we'll finish off the cozy. So I now have sewn in my ends and I'm going to take my cozy and wrap it round my mug just to see where I want to place my button. So I think I'm going to want to do mine fairly close to the edge, and I've decided that I'm going to go for a white button, so I'm going to pop it here. So I'm going to sew this on with my white yarn, and this is just going through each of the holes and making sure that it's nice and secure. So go ahead and sew on your button. So that is your crochet mug cozy tutorial. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to keep up to date with any of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again next time. Bye!